Welcome to the podcast. I'm Irshad Saifi, your host, a CIO and CDO with over 22 years of experience, a Stanford lead alumni, and a Stanford seed mentor. Today, we have a special guest, Ajay Pundir, to talk about the importance of artificial intelligence, its impact, and all that you can do around artificial intelligence to be successful in your life. Whether you are a student or a professional, whether you are a professional at a mid age, starting your career, or you have reached to the top, this podcast is actually going to help each one of you. So, with this, let me welcome Ajay. Ajay, welcome to the show. Would you want to give your quick background? Thank you.
Thanks, Irshad. Thanks for having me on your podcast. And hi, everyone. My name is Ajay Pundir, and I'm right now joining from Abu Dhabi. I work here with the company called G42. It's a cloud-based AI solution provider company in the Middle East. For my background, I'm basically from India, Agra, and I came here like 6 years ago. And before coming to here, I started my journey in Bangalore into the IT career. So I would just go a little bit in the background how I started my career and where all the energy and inspiration is coming from. Being from a small town in India, um, and coming from a very from a family of farmers. So my father is having a very small business in India earlier, like he used to be the farmer. So education was not something which is like coming natural and having a lot of importance. But my father is always like inspiration. He always value to the education. And to your audience, I just wanted to give how like where I got this spark of continuous learning, keep on doing is basically coming from my father. So he did his education until the intermediate in his time, right? Only the plus two. After that, he started his own business because of the family circumstances and all. And but he was so keen and he valued education so much that after coming to almost his retirement stage 60 plus, he resumed his studies back. So he did his graduation after 60. So that's like something we can take how much value he gives to the
Yeah,
education,
yeah,
right? So he was always pushing, okay, to us like, okay, whatever you want to learn, whatever you want to know, and in whatever area or the field you want to go, you should explore, right? That's where basically I started going through the different media and learning what are the different paths, because there was nobody else to guide, right?
yeah,
So explored myself, okay, what are the areas, where should I go, what type of education should I have, what are the good colleges and all, right? And that learning or that curiosity is still like driving me. And that's where like I started after completing my bachelor's. I was like a couple of years in the teaching field, and then I did my master's in from IIIT Bangalore, one of the very prestigious college in India. And I started my career with Nokia. And Nokia, I was working on an open source contribution by the Nokia, which is the Migo platform. Migo was one of the operating system that
mhm,
Nokia built for their mobile devices. So I started my career with that, then moved to Samsung. That's where like I realized, okay, mobile devices are good, and but these mobile devices are basically generating huge data, right? So how to handle this large volume of data, and that's where I started learning and working in the big data field while working with Samsung Research in Bangalore. After working a couple of years in the data, I started realizing, okay, um, we have a lot of data, but what to do about it? Like that's where I started engaging in small POCs in Samsung. I built few POCs, and there were some internal competitions and all, and that's where I showcased those POCs. Right, I got good traction, and that sparked. Okay, we have the data, but we can learn a lot from this data, right? And that's where my journey into the AI space started back in 2014, right? And then I joined American Express Big Data and Machine Learning Labs, Bangalore. Did a lot of work and contribution in the machine learning and AI space there. And from last 6 years, I'm here working in G42 in various roles. And my focus has been how AI can be used for human good, right? So AI has various roles to play, right? How AI can be utilized to make our life better, right? That is the overall motto. And I really see that last couple of years, the kind of advancements that has happened in the AI, we are going to see lot more AI in our life, right? So this is the quite motivation, and
Yeah,
I'm quite
I
happy
agree.
that I'm into this field.
Yeah. But tell me, this is very interesting. You mentioned that you have been, looks like you have been in the AI for last 10 years. And it is just in the last 2 to 3 years when the AI has actually come to the consumer's hand. It is, I would say it is a consumerization of the AI that has just begun. And now people can actually go experience what is artificial intelligence and what it is not. So what are your advice to the working professionals or the students pertaining to artificial intelligence? Do you think uh, a specific industry will have many advantages compared to the others, or how, if a person is starting their career or want to start their career in artificial intelligence, what is the starting point, be it for the working professionals? Because today when I go and talk to a lot of people, they are also saying, look, we think AI is important, but we don't know what is the starting point. So people who are not technology oriented ones, but hence they believe that AI can actually go and make changes into their lives,
Mhm.
what are those things that you would advise everyone here? Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks.
yeah. So definitely. AI in last like I started back in 2014, but
Yeah,
suddenly after this Chat GPT or the
true.
in 2022 in November when Chat GPT was released, suddenly like we saw a lot of spark and lot of practical use cases where people are now playing with AI every day, right?
Yeah,
So AI came into the forefront in last 2 3 years, but we have been working in AI like in so many for so many years, right?
yeah.
So now everyone is looking into, okay, what we can do, what are the different type of different use cases where we can integrate AI into our system. So the hype is really high, right?
Yeah,
So here is the advice, like I would say, there is a potential, there are a lot of opportunities, but um, first advice is like treat AI as a tool to solve the business problems, to solve the user challenges, right?
hmm,
So AI is not a magic, okay? It
yeah,
is still a tool to solve the problem. So focus should be on solving the user problem, solving the challenges that your users are having, and not starting anything just because AI can do it, or there are promises by AI, right? So this
sure.
is what the first advice I would
So
give to anyone.
essentially, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
Essentially, what you're saying is that start with the business problem. Start
yeah,
going, identifying what your business need, what issues do they have, and then see whether AI can actually go and solve that problem or not. Okay,
yes,
that's
exactly.
helpful. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. And the second thing is like continuous learning, right? Because AI field is evolving so fast
Yeah.
that you cannot just rely on the learnings that you had yesterday, right? So each and every day there is something else coming in, right?
Yeah.
And these tools are basically making our lives easy, in one sense, right? But making it difficult that you have to keep on learning, right? It cannot be that you are working on X technology, or the you are using X tool or the framework, right? And that will fit in all the possible use cases that you are going to solve, right? So there is a steep, like, the learning which you need to navigate, and I would say there is no escape. There is no escape for this. You need to have this curiosity or this mindset of continuous learning, right?
Yeah.
uh, and the another advice I would say is, because now, during my mentoring session also, I come up with this type of question. Lot of uh, mid-career professionals, right? So they say, okay, we have worked on XYZ technology, or maybe they say, for example, in the testing or the software development, right?
Yeah.
For last 7 8 years or 10 years now, okay, we are seeing that AI is everywhere. What
Yeah.
should we do? So my advice to them is, build on your skills. Don't just think that, okay, this is something where you need to forget everything what you have been
Yeah.
doing so far and just jump into it. The AI is a very vast field. There is a lot to do in each and everything what you have been doing, right? Maybe just you have to build some new skills on top of your existing skills. So first, career mapping is definitely necessary. So map your
Yeah.
career into the right vertical where you want to go, and see what are your transferable skills, match them, and build your career on top of that. Don't No need to basically go back. And because over a period of time which you have spent in this IT industry, you have learned the domain knowledge. Without domain knowledge, right, there is no AI. So because you need to know the right perspective, right? You need to know
Yeah.
the right solution, right? AI is going to act as a tool to solve the real problem, right? And
Hmm.
that's where you have to add on your existing skill set.
That's very helpful. And are there any industries that you think will have the immediate immediate impact as we are moving forward versus the industries that may have the impact maybe few years later?
Yeah. So, with regards to, say, industry, AI is promising like everywhere, but I would say the immediate impact, okay, as you ask, are the industry like where we are seeing a lot of automation. So even in the current stage where we are seeing a lot of talks about AI, the hype, we are still in the narrow AI, right? Where AI is limited to doing certain tasks. Okay, so these small tasks can automate day-to-day, like the events or the operations, right? But they are limited to one and specific task. They are not very generic, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of automation, wherever the automation is required, this is applicable, right? Potential use cases are coming into the healthcare, but
Yeah.
there is a catch that currently we cannot completely rely on the AI, right? So that's another thing. Finance is another area where we can see, and as McKinsey has basically predicted, that AI can add around 1 trillion additional value each year
Hmm.
into the banking industry, right? But what AI can do in that, like it can basically do your automating your routine task, enhancing your decision making capability, improving the customer experience. So these are some certain areas where we can see the immediate impact.
Yeah. Oh, this is really helpful. Now, Ajay, let's switch the gears from AI to maybe some of the mentorship that you spoken about, giving to the students and maybe midterm professionals. So tell me, Tell me, what are those tips that you would like to provide to our audience that they should really follow them rigorously into their career? Again, irrespective of where they are, whether they are a student, or the tips could be separate for students, separate for mid-term professionals, and for the beginners. So, would you want to share a few tips to be successful in the life? And the success does not just mean earning the money. Success also means happiness. Success also means being ethical. So, what are those? Would you want to share a few tips around that so that our audience can actually not just learn AI here in this show, but also they can get a few tips from a industry professional like yourself who has already gone from starting the career from a tier 2 tier 3 city in India, and now you're in Abu Dhabi having a very wonderful career which a lot of people in the world actually go and aspire to. So touchwood, you have reached to that particular level, and I'm sure you have a lot of goals to even go further. But even for people to reach to your level, what are those tips? We really want to hear from you. Thanks.
Thank you. So, yeah, there are a couple of advice that I give to everyone. And um, uh, first one, apart from the technology side, okay, let's
Yeah.
keep the technology apart. Um, I would say in my success so far, there is a big role of mentor. Okay,
Hmm.
wherever I have found challenges, I have always reached out to my mentors. Okay, so this is one thing which I would advise to anyone, whether it is a student or a working professional. Okay, they should have a good mentor to guide them, right? And mentors are not going to advise you on very specific problem, right? They will provide you a framework of thinking, right?
Yeah.
This is what make them different than a guide, right? So that's like if you just want some advice, you can just go to any learning center and learn the skills, right? But a mentor will give you a thinking framework, right? This is what makes them different.
Hmm.
And I have found it particularly in my life. Whenever I have found any challenge, I have reached out to them, and they have been very, very helpful. So that is my first advice
Yeah.
to anyone. Second one is um, asking relevant questions. Okay, so whether it is in like working life, or maybe having a personal life challenge, right? So we always stuck on the previous experience, and we keep on thinking for the solution within that constraint, right? So we need to come out of that um, um, past thinking, and we
Hmm.
need to uh, think beyond by asking to ourselves some questions which we have not explored, right? So that will lead us to a different solution, right? So that is another advice
Sure.
I give to anyone. And the third
Hmm.
one is there is no shortcut, right? So
Yeah.
keep on learning, keeping eyes open, and every time, wherever there is opportunity, invest time in looking things differently, and try to perceive from the environment.
Perfect. This is very helpful. Thank you so much, Ajay. One last question. What are those maybe one or two or three advice that you would like people to not do? Assuming you are having over 2 decades of experience. If you would not have done those two, three things, maybe your career would have even grown better. You would have
Mhm.
even more successful. So what are those basis the learning? I'm sure those would be some failures or some mistakes that you may have done. Would you want to share them as well?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So one advice that may be helpful for everyone, though we all know that getting feedback, okay, is important for personal growth, right?
Hmm.
But what happens is when we approach for feedback, okay, our intention is to get the feedback, or are we approaching, or are we going for the feedback with the mindset of validation? right? That is where a lot of people make mistake. Even I
Hmm.
was doing this
Yeah.
until I found this through my mentors, that okay, what is the right approach, right? So one recent example I would
Yeah.
say, right, lot of companies has started this 360 feedback, right?
Yeah.
Where you get the feedback from all your colleagues and all, right? What happens, like they will give you the tool. Now it is your responsibility to get the feedback, to learn from the people, right? What are you doing good, or what areas you need to improve on, right?
Yeah.
So many of the time people, they okay, I know this friend, I know this is the guy who will be giving me a good feedback, so we go for the validation.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't go for the
We
like
we don't
feedback,
go for
real
the
feedback.
real feedback. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is one a big mistake. And this what happens in this scenario, like you may need not to you like act upon each and every feedback, but
Hmm.
if you are getting the some feedback which is basically forcing you to think and do the reflection, okay,
Yeah.
that's where you will get the real value from, right? So even if you get the negative feedback, or maybe the feedback which is not favorable to you, but this is the real feedback that is going to help you think into the area that you have not explored, right? So go for the feedback, go for the real feedback rather than just validation, because
Hmm.
validation is not going to help.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks, Ajay, for your time. Thanks for giving all the AI and non-related AI advice to all to each and everyone here. And I absolutely value your time. And with this, I think we have come towards the end of this podcast. Thanks again for being here, and thanks everyone for listening to this podcast. I hope you will find it valuable, and we will continue to produce more. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Sure. Thank you, everyone. Bye.